I don't want to like romanticize or pursue, your passion.
Okay.
Because like at the end of the day, you still need to have food on the table, right? Sometimes if a video reaches like 100,000 views, right? It's not a lot in the eyes of social media, but it's a lot in the eyes of art. Imagine 100,000 people have seen your artwork. Welcome to Clean Your Toilet podcast. I am Louisa Raj. I'm a Singaporean realism artist, and I like to paint ordinary things that are part of our everyday lives, things that we live with, we eat with, but we kind of stop noticing them after a while. So painting is my way of drawing attention back to them.
Wow, so looks like we're going to hear a lot around like paying attention to our everyday things that we don't look at, right?
Yeah, I just like to look at those things. I like to go to supermarkets and like just walk around seeing things that, hey, how come I've never noticed this before?
Right, that's interesting. So my name is Pei Ying. I'm a master certified coach, also a CFO, ex-CFO of a medical company. So I would say that when I hear you share your introduction, it makes me think about like, so then what is it that I bring awareness to? Because the work that I currently do now is a lot around inner work. It's a lot around how do people pay attention to themselves, to the part of themselves that maybe they're not even consciously aware of. Because within us holds a lot of nuggets of wisdom that we're not aware of. So I do that with an individual, whereas you do that with everyday things. So that's pretty interesting. So today we are here to talk about the theme of tradition and heritage, whether it is a compass or a shackle. Right, and what would you say is your current perspective of it?
I think I appreciate tradition in that sense. I feel like growing up in Singapore, or like the way my parents bring me up, it's a lot about you have to be responsible for yourself. So I think like that aspect, like it's still my compass to this day. Like even though I've left a very traditional path of a corporate life and gone full time into artists, I think that is still my anchor. And so no matter what I do, I have to be responsible, like financially responsible. I don't end up as a starving artist, right?
Right. And how did that responsibility and making sure that you don't end up starving, how did that guide your path into being an artist today?
I'm sorry, say again?
How did it guide you into becoming an artist today, right? Because you said that responsibility is important. Money is also important. And then like there are many cases where we see starving artists. So what kind of work did you have to put in prior to living your corporate life to know or to be sure that that's not going to happen to you?
So I've been painting for about 6 years now. And I think at first when I started painting, it wasn't so serious, but I think by roughly the third year, I felt like, I actually really, really like to paint. And it really brings me a lot of joy. And then I started, feeling like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And
sounds like a marriage.
Yeah, I think kind of like that. Yeah. So then the question became, okay, then like, I want to do this full time because there are many things I want to explore, but I cannot do that as a part-time artist. So then the question was, how can I do this full time? So then I started, really exploring this question for myself, and then started posting more of my work online, going out to more art exhibitions. And I think like that helps me to reach more people. And then over time, I started getting like consistent requests for my artworks. So then it was last year when I felt like, okay, like doesn't seem like such a dream anymore. I think there is stability in that. So then that's when I decided to
I see that you already saw some degree of stability in the kind of income you're getting from it. And that's what told you that maybe I can make the leap.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. So it's like, okay, so it's not just, I don't want to like romanticize or pursue, your passion.
Okay.
Because like at the end of the day, you still need to have food on the table, right? So So I think, being practical is also one aspect of it.
Right, understand. And so, you said that initially it was about you putting your work out there and then you visiting art galleries. So was that then about them knowing the kind of work that you were doing that brought you the commissions that gave you some sort of affirmation that you're on the right path?
So part of that was, just like going around art openings, and because usually at art openings, one thing is I get to see a lot of the artwork. So because I'm self-taught, so a lot of my learning comes from observation.
Right.
So going to this exhibition definitely helps. But also at these exhibitions, there are collectors, potential collectors, gallerists, and then through that, it helps. But I think what helps most is I post a lot of my art online, my process, my painting process. And then I think through that, it helps my work just reach more people. So like, say for example, sometimes if a video reaches like 100,000 views, right? It's not a lot in the eyes of social media, but it's a lot in the eyes of art. Imagine 100,000 people have seen your artwork. That's a lot of people.
But what's the difference? Because you say in the world of art, 100K is a lot, but in other cases, it isn't.
I mean, like a typical, if you go on Instagram, a video has 100,000 views. You wouldn't think that, that video has gone viral, right? Or, depending on what's the content.
But what makes art different? Like, don't we see that in today's world, people are generally more interested in art?
Yeah, okay. So it's like, you think about, like, we just had Art SG, right?
Yes.
Think maybe the whole Art SG, I don't know what's the number, but, let's say 100,000 people visited the Art SG, right? Even if you have your artwork in there, 100,000 people may not have seen that artwork because there are so many artworks there.
Yep.
And it's 100,000 people over 3 days and you're sharing their attention. But on a video, you just do a video and you can get 100,000 people to have seen your work.
Right.
So I think like that is the
you're
difference,
you're comparing to like the physical art space.
Yeah, like
versus...
a very traditional sense. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So actually putting art online is like breaking through the traditional boundaries of art, right? Because in the past, art could only be seen or experienced in person. But then now you can bring it online and people can still see and experience it such that it becomes something that they start sharing and spreading. And that's also how your work can reach more people.
Yeah, I think you put it really nicely.
So that's very interesting. Very interesting. And so for you, like, has art always been a passion? Because you said you only started 6 years ago, right? Why not earlier?
So, when I was younger, like I'm talking like 5-6 years old, I went for art class with my brother. And it's those not very serious kind, it's those like under the block kind. And I was with my brother, and my brother was very obviously the more talented one. Like, he was so talented that the teacher would like go down to him and like look at his canvas and then tell my mom like, wow, your boy is so talented, And I remember, so in this art class, there was, every year they do like a art competition. Then there is this kind of piggy bank thing that is made of clay. Then we had to paint it. And I took a lot of pride in that project. Like, I really painted. Then my brother spent like 10 minutes painting and he got like first prize in the entire neighborhood. So it kind of shows me that, okay, maybe it was a feedback that, I really don't have that creativity. Then my mom, she kind of very randomly also made a comment, like when I was a kid, that, my brother is the artist of the family. And it wasn't mean, or it wasn't targeted at me. It was just like she made a comment of.
Yep.
But that kind of, as you're kids, when you're a kid, you hear these kind of things, you pick up certain things, and it's like, okay, maybe it's just not my path. So then I never really pursued until 6 years ago. And then I saw a painting by this Filipino artist called Heart Evangelista. And I thought it was a very beautiful painting. And I remember feeling like, oh, what a nice thing to be able to paint. So then that day on, I started learning how to paint.
Right. Wow. Okay. So there was inspiration later on in your life.
Yeah.
And that's what got you started. And did your brother become an artist?
No. Like, that's the thing. I think some kids, when they're very good at something, and then somehow maybe they just kind of lose that passion.
It's
along
different
the
when
way.
you have to work for it and chase after it.
It's different when you actually want to do it. Like it comes to you. Then I think the motivation is different. And I think for my case, it was like that. Like
Right.
it came to me. Then I was very motivated to want to be better.
And how did you come to focus on the kind of medium that you are focusing on now?
You mean the objects and like what I paint?
Yeah.
So-
like the bags of rice and...
Okay. So it didn't started out that way.
Okay.
So just like a lot of artists who first start out, they don't really have a direction. And I also didn't really have a direction because when you're learning, maybe a lot of the work is by you paint with a reference photo, like maybe you are imitating some kind of master's work and then you just paint and you try to make it look like the painting, right? So it was like that. And so when I think maybe the first 2 or 3 years, I just painted things that I thought was beautiful. So no meaning, no concept, nothing. I just I think beautiful, okay, I paint. So it's a way of practicing. And then one day I painted this vintage Barbie doll because I thought it was very beautiful, ma. And that got me my first exhibition opportunity. That was in 2023. It was a group show. So I exhibited one. And then there was someone who came by. He's a Barbie collector. He's one of the biggest in Asia. And
Wow, okay.
yeah, and then he saw it and then we just had a conversation. And then he just, again, it's a random comment, right? He said that, hey, maybe you should explore nostalgia as a topic in your paintings.
I see.
And he said that like nostalgia as a topic, he has seen a lot of it being explored in Singapore, but a lot of those nostalgia is from like 1980s, 70s, where you have the cookies, with the icing, sugar and all.
Yes.
So a lot of that kind of nostalgia, but nostalgia from 90s, from the 2000s, that's actually not very well explored yet. And he said, since I grew up in that period, why don't I try it? So it was just a comment, but I think it planted something in me and it'd be like, yeah, actually, why? I mean, I do find that period very interesting.
Because you grew up in it.
Yeah, I grew up in it. And so we still had the very like traditional life, like the very analog life. And then suddenly technology was introduced, right? And then we had Nokia phones, then became iPhones. So it's a very interesting time period to grow up in.
So what did you remember of the 80s and 90s?
I wasn't born yet.
Okay.
So
but then you were exploring that and then you say there's a lot of nostalgia. So you're saying that you grew up in that period,
I
right?
meant the person who told me that, the guy who came.
Okay.
That was his observation of the Singapore art scene.
I see.
That nostalgia from the 80s, 70s, 60s, that's well explored, right? Like a
But
lot of
not
artists
later
have
on.
painted the streets of the Singapore River, those scenes like the very old boat quay scenes. Like that one has, a lot of paintings have done that already. So then that's why I thought, what are things from my childhood? And that led me to painting the condensed milk. Because
so that was one of the first.
Yeah, that was one of the first few things. Because when I was younger, right, after I would watch like the Channel 8 drama until 10 p.m. Then my mom would make us Milo before we went to bed. And then me and my siblings will sit there and then we'll watch her make the Milo and then she'll add a teaspoon of condensed milk. Then we'll start seeing which cup has more condensed milk. Then we just grab. So to me, was that condensed milk was that moment,
Right. Very magical.
Yeah, and it turns out like a lot of people also have the same ritual when they were younger. They will watch the Channel 8 drama, then they'll have a cup of Milo, then they'll go to bed.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, when I think of the Milkmaid can, I think of, in the past where people used to take away coffee, it will be in that can.
So actually the painting, I eventually sold the painting and to a guy who is retired and he bought it because it reminded him of that. The
Right.
takeaway cup.
Yep. Interesting. I wonder where did that go? Okay. But anyway, so then coming back to, okay, so then you found your focus because somebody suggested that. Would you
In
say
a way,
that?
it was like a comment, right? Like sometimes in life is like that, isn't it? Like someone will make a comment or you will see something and then you get inspired.
And you just need to pay attention to it.
Yeah. And it could be, maybe he said something and I could like completely disagree and end up working on something that I disagreed, in another direction. But in a way, it kind of came from that. And then it kind of just led to a series of the the artworks.
I see.
Yeah.
And like, how did you ended up choosing realism as your focus?
So I think like even before I started painting, when I went for exhibitions and all, I'm more drawn to things that have some kind of structure and form and colors. So naturally I was drawn to realism paintings. So when I painted, it kind of became like that. And I think painting realism, I enjoy it because it's a lot about just observation. Like the more you look, then the more you start to see. So, and I like to repeat this story, right? That, from my favorite artist called David Hockney. So he once asked, like, what is the color of the road? You know, what is the color of the road?
Of the road? Most people will say it's black.
Yeah, black, right? Or like dark grey. But the thing is actually if you really look at the road, it's different colours. And it changes depending on the day, whether it's raining or if it's sunny. And it's not entirely the same shade of grey or same shade of black. Yep. It changes along the way. And I think realism is really about like observing this kind of things.
Like you pay ultra attention to what people don't pay attention to. Would you feel that way?
Yeah, I guess so in that sense.
Yeah.
Or I start to pay attention to things that have always been there. But then, yeah, painting allows me to just like really, really look at that item. Otherwise, if I'm not painting, I also wouldn't really, really look at the road. What color is the road? But if I'm painting, I have to.
But like, given that you now look at things to this degree, right? How does that translate to your everyday living?
Well, I feel like I'm maybe starting to get a bit more and more observant to things that are happening around. Like last time, you know, when I had my corporate life, every morning I would go to work, take the MRT and then come back. I don't really notice the surroundings. But today I was also at the MRT station and then I was just walking along and I started to see, wow, there's actually so many artworks around. There's like sculptures, there's like paintings, there's like photographs. And I feel like if you asked me like 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have noticed these things.
So actually, for most people, when we go through life, we just don't pay attention. In a lot of ways.
I can only speak for myself. I wasn't paying much attention.
But it's true because like you see, when people go to work or they knock off work, most of the time they're on their phones. So that even there were sculptures or art pieces, you're not going to notice that because you think that you are passing through the same thing every day, that nobody bothers. Right? So it's interesting that it takes the new vocation you're in now for you to see, there's all these things happening.
How about you? Do you notice them?
I would say I generally notice them since I am in the kind of work that I'm doing. Right? So I pay attention a lot to a person's verbal and non-verbal cues. Right? Because a person could be saying something, but their body language is telling me something different. So I think what's interesting, at least for me, is I pay more attention to the non-verbals. Because the non-verbal cues tells the truth. The verbal cues, the things that you say, a lot of it comes from your mind and your narratives. And your narratives sometimes could be there for you to cope with what you're facing. And they may or may not be true. But your body would never lie. Because your body cannot help itself but to show a certain sort of response, bodily response. And I think that is what tells me where each person is at in their lives, or like how are they really feeling about this thing that we're talking about. Whether they're feeling edgy about it, whether they really have accepted certain things or that they're still battling against it. So I think that is the level of like awareness that happens. But of course, having said that, I will still say that, awareness is still not perfect because there's still that need to kind of dig deeper into yourself to look at what are the other aspects that you might have missed out. A lot of times when people ask me like, how come there are certain things that I just can't see for myself, right? So then there's this thing called blind spot, right? So we always say, like, when you're driving a car, you use the mirrors to see your blind spot. But actually, similarly in life, you also need those mirrors. But then it's more of, do you need an external mirror or is there an internal mirror that you can cultivate within yourself? Like the reason why blind spots cannot be easily seen is because you've already seen it as part of you. So there is no way that you're going to see and separate it such that you will see it differently. So that's the degree of awareness that we're talking about.
Oh, I love that.
And that is what...
Later you tell me if you see my blind spots.
Yeah, blind spots. Well, it depends on what comes up in the conversation.
Yeah, because I don't know also, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
True. I mean, we all have our blind spots, and I think people around us can see it. But it's just that sometimes when it is shared with a person, they may or may not recognize or can accept it, because it's not within your initial awareness, unless there are already challenges that you're facing that makes you go like, why does this keep happening to me? Or like, why is it I'm not seeing? Then maybe that's when the observation helps. Yeah. So then it's the same, right? Like in your work, there's a lot of observation that you are putting into what you paint, right? So when you bring that observation in, what does it do for the receivers of this piece of art? Because recently you did one that's more nostalgic, right? That has were you painting a living room or something? Yeah.
Yeah, so that one is a commission painting. And so when the collector first showed me, they were like, oh, how come so random, paint a living room? Then somehow his living room was like a little bit cluttered. So like, why do you want me to paint it, So then he told me the storylines, because his wife always like, the living room is decorated by her, It has her Hello Kitties, her fortune cats, which she collected over the years. And then she like just put everything there. But then she passed away 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, due to cancer. So he wanted to kind of preserve this scene, because he knows that in a few years' time, he's going to have to sell this house, because the house is too big for just himself. His daughter is graduating, going to get married soon. So when he sells the house, everything will be packed in a box. So he wants to like have this
immortalize it.
Yeah, in a way.
Right.
Yeah. So when I painted it, I really just kept thinking about this living room, because I also had a living room like that.
Oh, okay.
Like in my family growing up, we would gather at the living room, watch TV together, play games, sometimes have arguments there. A lot of things happen in the living room. And then it just gets to, at one stage in life, people start moving out. Then you got university, different priorities, and then you get married and everyone start moving out. So the living room is still there, but, we don't gather there anymore. Right? Last time, a random Tuesday, all of us would be home. So I just kept thinking about, those things and what this living room would have meant to him.
Yeah. I mean, as you speak of it, I'm almost stepping into the perspective of the living room itself. What has the living room witnessed through all this time? Right? Because like when you see it, are you just seeing the living room, or are you seeing through the eyes of the living room? Ooh. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because as you were speaking, that was the image that came out for me.
The collector calls the painting the happy room. So again, like I can imagine, yeah. And in that living room, ever since his wife passed away, they haven't changed anything about the living room. So even the Chinese New Year decorations from like 4 years ago, it's like still there. Everything, it's just like how she left.
And what do you think that represents?
I think maybe it's just to hold on to that memory a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like they kind of maybe find it hard to move on, which is why they're wanting to kind of do this, right? So for you, when you take on a commission, like what determines whether or not you accept the commission?
Yeah, so it depends on what they want me to paint. So stories like that, like the living room stories, I really love to paint things like that. I find it to be very meaningful. And I know that the collector is going to display it. It's going to be with her because he bought it as a gift for his daughter. Like she's going to keep it, because this is the happy room, right? So to me, like it's very meaningful. And I love doing things like that. Usually portraits. Portraits, I don't enjoy it that much because I don't know. I think I prefer to paint objects. Yeah, and actually recently I also just completed a commission. Because I did a series on mahjong. So I got this commission. This lady, she wanted me to paint a set of mahjong for her. And it is to kind of, this painting is to like memorialize her grandmother who just passed away in January at 102 years old.
Wow.
So and her grandmother kind of came from nothing but built a business on her own. And she's like this pillar of strength for her granddaughter. So her granddaughter is like, really longing for the grandmother. So in that painting, we did the mahjong table, and then the set is 13 Yao. Yeah. And at the corner of the table, we put the grandmother's spectacles, kind of to symbolize, right? Like when you take down your specs, symbolize that, okay, you're going to rest now. So you take down your specs. So we put her very iconic purple.
There's a lot of symbolism in this piece.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So to me, it's very meaningful. When I painted every day, I was like, yeah, I need to do it right.
How long do you take to do such a painting?
So every painting takes about 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
Because of the style, right? Realism, details matters. Yeah. But so that's why I need to really like painting it. So whenever
you'll be facing it for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, then I'll be dreading it. So that's why the story really matters.
Portrait 4 to 6 weeks.
No, yeah, because I think portraits is I don't have that relationship with the face, right? I don't know this face. So for me, it's
Do you feel like, as an artist, when you paint something and you paint it day in, day out, do you end up like dreaming about it as well?
Sometimes if I spend too long painting, then I would dream of myself like painting it. Oh. Yeah. So it's like, sometimes last time in school when I'm like studying for exams, if I study for too long, I would dream of myself studying.
Okay. That's like, do you feel like that's overdoing it?
Yeah, so usually I try not to have that kind of like chong until like that lah.
So is that part of like how you are as a person?
My dreams are very weird. Like I get a lot of anxiety dreams. So maybe it's a reflection that maybe
anxiety dreams.
Yeah, like even up to now, right? I've left school for so many years. I will still have dreams of myself like studying for the exam, and the exam is tomorrow. And then in my dream, the exam is always tomorrow, and then the textbook is this thick, and I have to go through every page and I haven't started yet. But the whole dream is just me panicking about not starting.
Right.
And then I only have 1 day until the exam, but I never get to the exam hall. Like the whole dream is
just stops there.
Just there. It's just there, loops with the...
And so it's a recurrent dream?
For many years. I asked my mother-in-law, she says she also has this kind of dreams. So
okay. But as a child, you already
even
had
as
that.
a child, I had such dreams. But I've left school for so many years and I still have dreams about exams.
Right. Who knows? Maybe it's either a trauma that's not healed, or perhaps it has a deeper meaning to it.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think in the world of psychology, when we look at dreams, dreams have a lot to play in terms of like maybe what's the theme of your life that keeps recurring, and like what's the message for you to kind of have to face and work through. So I think it shares a lot of lessons with us. It's just that most people don't know how to decipher their dreams. So then, yes, it could be a sign of anxiety. But if it's a sign of anxiety, it also kind of doesn't make sense that it's the same scene from the past. It naturally would maybe be more modern, more of today, right? So it's interesting. Maybe there's more to it than what you're seeing. I
need to know, why is it that so many years? Same dream.
Right. Okay, we can talk more outside of this podcast. Okay. And then when it comes to like, given that you paint 4 to 6 weeks on whatever that you choose to take on as commissions, would you say that you spend also quite a fair amount of time understanding the story and having to connect to it before you say yes?
Yeah, definitely. So usually before I start the painting, we will have a call and they'll tell me the story. But I think most people who come to me, most of them also have a story.
Right.
Because they have seen like, maybe some videos that I posted about, the story behind this painting. And then I think that got them thinking about, actually, I also have something like that I want painted. So I think most people already come to me with a story.
With a story.
And that is like, when I connect with the story, then I'll feel like it's very meaningful for me to work on it. Because 4 to 6 weeks is a long time to work on something.
Yeah. Because in a year, you only have 52 weeks.
Yeah.
So how many can you really do?
Yeah.
Like maybe 12, 11. So... But I think it's very interesting that you end up learning about their stories. Like do you feel like you almost step into their world or into their families or into their memories.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sometimes when I have the calls with them or I meet them and they tell me a story, then I'll end up like, they'll tell the story and then they'll cry, then I will cry because, you just feel that kind of emotions. And I think on some levels, I can relate to it as well. And in terms of the emotions that they're going through.
Yeah, I almost feel like you are maybe facilitating them in the processing of what this memory is about.
You think? You think so?
In a way, because then it also takes a lot for them to share this, right? It's kind of intimate to them. And although when they put it on a picture, a painting, it becomes public. But yet at the same time, when they go through this process with you, I mean, it sounds almost like therapy work in some ways. I mean,
I hope so. I would love for me or that painting to be a form of therapy for them.
Yeah, and it's interesting because for you, you chose to not like do stuff that doesn't have that meaning for you, right? So naturally, it will go into what's behind that, what's the story of it. And it has to have that meaning for you to even do it. So in a way, you've kind of already set how this needs to look, right? The level of like how you also need to be engaged in a certain way.
Yeah,
right,
for sure. Because it's not just a job. Like when I paint, it's the emotions, right? And then again, I think like knowing sometimes the backstory, it helps me to see it better.
But you're seeing the history of the person.
Yeah, even that living room, right? When knowing the backstory, then because when I paint, it's not that I don't choose to include everything in there. Some things I filter out, some things I put in there. So what is it that I want to emphasize in the painting and what is it I don't want to emphasize? So knowing their backstory.
Okay. So you have that decision when it comes to painting that.
So for example, the living room one, there was actually a reference photo. So he sent me the photo of his living room. So I painted off that. But there's some things that I felt maybe was a bit of distraction. Then, I will make put less emphasis on it.
So do they normally come to you with a picture? Or do you end up seeing the scene itself?
So for like living room, then it's a picture. But sometimes the mahjong one, there was no picture. The picture came from me. And then she just showed me like her grandmother's spectacles.
Oh, so you conceptualized it. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And so how about the packets of rice?
So packets
that
of
one
rice.
is like very iconic now.
So that one is it's not a commission. So that one is like the series that I built on and I started on. So rice is because, like as Singaporeans, city girl, like that is how I know rice. It's through the supermarkets, the packaging. And so that's why I thought, yeah, maybe I should paint this packaging. Because again, rice as a topic has also been explored a lot. People paint like the paddy fields.
Yours is different now because it's
mine is the packaging. Yeah, so
it shows the city that we grew up in, that we don't see what's in the field. We see what's in the packet.
We see the packaging, right? The shinier, the better.
To decide which one to buy.
Yeah, so to me, that's how I know my rice is by all these brands. And also, these brands, like growing up in Singapore, they many years ago, they had a lot of these advertisements. So they were kind of almost responsible for educating a generation of Singaporeans, like about family, about culture. Like there was always, the advertisements was always about going home for that meal.
Did you always pay attention to those before you started doing this?
Do you mean the TV commercials?
Yes.
Last time you're forced to watch, right?
You're forced to watch, okay.
Last time.
And then
when you watch
over and over
TV, it's like
again.
every 15 minutes, then got the commercial.
But you can always filter off,
like
mentally.
Yeah, must run to the toilet and run back, right?
Because it sounded like you pay attention to like really the nuances of the ad itself.
I think inevitably, growing up, the commercials, I remember a lot of them, the very iconic ones.
Right.
Like Song He had one about going home and then she can't get off or he can't get off on the bus and then the driver was like, hey, move back. Told the passengers like, hey, move back. All of us want to go home for dinner. So it's always that feeling, right? That rice is about family. You want to spend time with that family. Or like Kit Chan, she will be coming home from being so successful overseas and she can't wait to come home for that reunion dinner. And reunion dinner, rice is always at the anchor of it, right? So I think that to me is like tells me that rice is not just food. I think there's something else there. Right? There is this.
Sounds like home and the root of
Yeah.
what, I guess, that's the root for many Asians.
Yes.
Because rice
exactly.
is a staple in Asia.
Like I must eat rice, otherwise I feel like I haven't fed myself properly.
Is that true for you?
Yeah.
Like you have to eat rice every day?
Maybe not every day, but if I go too long without rice, then I'll feel like, I haven't had a proper
something's missing.
meal. Yeah, and I love noodles, but I think if I have noodles for a while, then I feel like I haven't had rice. I need rice.
Okay. I hear
Are
you.
you like that? Do you eat rice?
Yes, but maybe not to your degree. I'm more of a noodles person. Because I do feel that rice is a bit heavy. But yes, if I'm having rice, then it has to be good quality rice. Like it has to be whole grains. So when the rice is mushy or it has broken grains, it will affect my tasting.
So it has to be cooked very well as well.
Yes,
Timing
correct.
and all.
Because like traditionally, like if we talk about traditions now, like in my family, food is a very important part of growing up. Like good food. And because of that, then I grew up tasting a lot of different good food. Right? And because they cook well, and so what's home cooked, what's heartwarming is important for me. So even when I go out there to a restaurant, it's not just whether the quality of the food is there, but whether it brings that sense of home. Right? Just like what you say, what rice represents is really home for a lot of Asians. Right? So that's kind of how I experience food, and so that becomes what's important for me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this rice series has opened up a lot of conversations like that. I hear from people their perspective, right, of what rice means to them.
You're going to paint the cai fan also. It's
Cai fan,
iconic
actually,
in Singapore.
There's a creator who is doing that. Not painting, but she does the back charms and Ketania.
Tanya,
She has
yes.
I bought her back charms and it's like cai fan themed.
Yeah.
Again, I think cai fan is something that is so integral to our Singaporean lives, but at the same time, we also barely notice it after a while. Like we eat it, but then we don't consciously think of it.
Right.
So I love exploring subjects like that.
I see.
Yeah.
So what would you say are some traditions that you hold dear to you? Like it could be from your family or from your culture that you feel still hold true or important to you even after so many years?
Oh, tradition. Oh, there's so many, right? Like, okay, when it comes to like Chinese New Year, I think spending time with the family is very, very important. Like being happy during that period is like very, very important. So
family time.
yeah,
Family togetherness.
I think.
And what would you say like are some values or lessons from your upbringing that actually shape your decision making or the way that you navigate life? Like beyond responsibility.
Yeah, I think some values would be, like, just, so my parents, for your context, my parents are immigrants. They came from Malaysia at a very young age. And then they met in Singapore. Right. So, like growing up, being in an immigrant family, right, stability is always very important. So then in school, it's like, okay, get good grades, right? Get a good job, get a good income, get promoted. So that was always important. And I think that was in my corporate life, that was what kind of anchors me and drives me forward. But I think that mindset has kind of evolved a bit into stability is still important, but there are many ways to do it. And it doesn't always mean like just a steady paycheck every month. So when it comes to, when I knew that I really wanted to do art full time, I was very conscious about, okay, how can I make this very sustainable? Because I still want to be doing this like 50 years from now, right? So then
50 years from now. Wow,
yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Hope I'm still alive.
Okay.
Or maybe by the time it's going to be 100 years from now.
Yeah. Our lifespans are extending.
Yeah, and then maybe by then I can still be painting. I think that would be really good.
You need to train your muscles. Okay.
Yeah. So what was it? Yeah, so I think like that stability, I still continue to, I think it's very important.
You
but
just brought it to a different form.
Yeah, correct. Evolve that.
Yeah. So when you decide that you want to like become an artist, like how did your family responded?
So my husband is very supportive.
Right.
In fact, even before I became full-time, he was the one who kind of kept planting in me that, I should do it full-time and kept encouraging me along the way. Right. As for my family, it took me a long time before I told them that,
Okay.
In fact, I actually only told them after I became full-time.
Oh, okay.
Because I was very scared to tell them. I didn't know how my mom was going to react or my dad was going to react. Because, like I say, they're from the immigrant kind of mindset, right? But when I eventually told them, they were so supportive. And I was like so touched. I cried.
Oh, okay.
And so my mom said, I'm very proud of you. Which is, in my family, we don't say things like that.
Oh, okay.
It's a very Asian way of growing up, right? Like, we don't say I love you. We don't say I'm proud of you. We don't say I'm sorry. We express love in different ways.
What, through actions?
Yeah, I think growing up, it was a lot of the acts of service. Yeah, my mom would cook for us. My dad would buy my favorite food.
It's always about food.
Yeah, it's always about food.
Okay.
But I think
you also painted food, Milkmaid.
That's why maybe that's why that must have influenced me, because that Milkmaid was my way of my mom's way of showing love and care every single day.
Until you still remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's consistent. Imagine someone does that for you every day. Right. And I think when I was younger, I didn't really appreciate it. Like, I didn't consciously appreciate it, but now I look back, it was so precious.
So did you ask your mom, when are you going to come and make some Milo for me?
But like nowadays, I don't really drink a lot of Milo.
Your taste will change when you grow up. But yet, it's just a nostalgia. And but it's nice to...
In a way, like, my parents don't say, like, I love you. In a way, me painting it and appreciating that my mom did that for me,
it's a way
and appreciating it in the painting, it's my way of saying that thank you and I love you.
But do you wish that it could have been different, in terms of expression?
What do you mean?
Because like you say, for most Asian families, expressions through words of affirmation or even hugs and stuff, it's not the norm, right? And because of that, then most parents just know how to do acts of service. And then in turn, we also pick up that whole thing around acts of service. So is there a part of you that feels that this is an aspect to break free or break through?
Actually, this acts of service or the Asian way of expressing love without saying I love you, I think it's more powerful.
Oh, okay.
When you recognize it and when you see it, it's more powerful and meaningful, because it almost feels like there's more effort involved. And I recently watched this movie, A Good Child. It's a local movie.
Right.
And I think the actor got nominated for this Best Actor award.
Right.
And I watched it, and it's like this movie, I felt like was a way of showing how Asian people show love without saying I love you. And you see it through the way they care for each other. And
it's very nuanced, right? Like you got to be able to see it.
Yeah. You need to be able to see, and once you see it, then you appreciate. So that's why I said when I was growing up, I never saw it. But now that I've grown up, looking back, I see it and I appreciate it, and I think it's a lot more powerful.
Yeah. Okay. I guess from that standpoint, it has its power. I think it's a very different perspective, because I think most people that I meet, they will say, I wish my parents could be more affirming. Right? Like when I do well, they just not say anything. So how I know, did I do it well or not? That kind of thing.
But they won't say anything to you, right? But they'll probably call her friend and say, wow, my daughter got 98.
Yes, correct. So it's interesting, right? They'll tell the whole world, but they won't tell the person involved.
Yeah. So in a way, but if you see it, then you know that your mom is proud of you.
But the thing is, perhaps if it happened in that moment, that might have changed a lot of things, right? Because we can also say that a lot of Asian kids grew up chasing after validation from their parents, because those words were never said to them. No matter how hard they tried, they didn't get that affirmation. So then a number of people become like overachievers, right? And then they are seeking that external validation or that confirmation that, hey, I did well and I did it. But then once that is passed, then the emptiness comes back, right? But then if that was already taken care of when they were growing up, then they wouldn't be chasing this way. A lot of the chasing has to do with what you didn't get growing up. Yeah, so in that sense, it has its own social impact that maybe most people normalize it. But then I think for people who are becoming parents, then that's something to think about.
Yeah, I that sense I kind of agree. I agree with you because like now when it comes to my nieces, right? Well, I over-validate them.
You over-validate them.
Everything they do is like, oh, that's so amazing for the smallest things. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but
you will see in 20 years' time.
Yeah, I'll see in 20 years' time. Yeah. But even like my I feel like my husband validates me a lot. So I appreciate that and I like it.
Right. And so it's a way of passing it on to them?
To my nieces?
Yes.
Yeah. I just maybe in that sense, growing up, I didn't have a lot of that, right? And now I want to give it to them. But hope it, some people say that no matter what you do, you're going to screw up your child anyway. So, they're going to be screwed up in some way, right? So, yeah. Not that I have a child, but it's my nieces.
I feel like there is a limit of control in terms of like, there are certain things that are under the child's control in terms of how they choose to perceive it. And then there is your aspect as an adult or as a parent guiding the child in terms of the role you play, whether you do anything to traumatize them, right? So what you can do is to manage yourself and manage how you are being a role model or not. Whereas the child is for them to decide how they're going to perceive something. So in that sense, there's only a certain degree of responsibility that an adult can take on, right? But then I think it's a very challenging, and I think that's why a lot of parents, right, they maybe end up wanting to do some work on themselves. So that they can be a true role model to their child. Like not wanting their child to follow their footsteps in some aspects where they feel they failed in for themselves or in their lives. Yeah. So always a big topic when we talk about kids and like, how does it affect them? And so for you, like since we're talking about kids and we're talking about different generations, right? What would you say are some like generational patterns that you had to end for you to step into your full power as who you are?
Generational patterns.
Yeah.
I think it's so after I graduated, I got a corporate job and then like steady paycheck, and I was happy. Like, at that time, I was like, okay, my goal was to be a COO.
Okay.
When I'm like 40 years old, 50 years old, I want to be a COO. So that was my goal. But then when I started painting, I realized that, actually there's so many different ways to live. It's not just having a corporate job. Like
the world opened up.
Yeah, the world opened up. That there's so many possibilities, right? And I met different artists, and there are like so many different artists out there doing things their own way and being able to be so authentic to themselves, and also at the same time have a very practical, fulfilling career out of it. So I kind of saw that aspect. So I had to, kind of rewire a bit of that learning that, I had inside me. That, initially it was, okay, I need to have a job and paint part-time. That was the only possibility. Then it became, actually, I think I can do this full-time. So I had to kind of rewire that, and then get used to, it's not every month I'm going to have that kitchen, on 21st of every month in my bank account. But it's still okay.
But I think what's more surprising is your parents, their response.
Yeah.
That they're actually supportive and they're good with you. But I think it's then also how it landed on you to think that you have to be a certain way because your parents are a certain way.
Yeah. So maybe that held me back for years because I thought my parents are not going to like it. But turns out they're very supportive. But I think they also trust me to be responsible
for the choices that you make.
Yeah.
But actually then growing up, did they say anything to you that made you feel that you have to be a certain way? I mean, aside from the kind of roles they took on, right, did they actually explicitly say anything that makes you feel like you gotta be in corporate?
I think it's just, it goes back to how my mom would call her her friends like, oh yeah, she got into, this course. Oh, she graduated. Oh, now she got a job as an actuary. And then I just felt like whatever I was doing was making my mom very proud. Like the path I was taking, like, going to uni and then getting a degree and then being in actuarial science and then like traveling. So in my 20s, I traveled a lot for work. So I felt like she was like proud of it.
Like you're living the high life.
Yeah, in a way, right? So maybe that to me is, I was scared to break that bubble for her. Yeah.
Okay. But then like for yourself...
Because I don't know if she would tell her friends that, oh, my daughter, she's an artist. But actually, so after, when I had my first solo exhibition, my mom like invited all the neighbors.
Wow.
Even neighbors from like last time, 30 over years ago. Those neighbors even she invited. Oh, my daughter has an art exhibition. So maybe I myself put all these limits on myself. My mom didn't.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to acknowledge the limits that we put on ourselves. Because a lot of times is not being able to recognize the limits that we get stuck in at where we are. But then the fact that you could name it, that's also why you then eventually broke out of it. Right. So it's an interesting journey that you went through. Like it's almost like a journey of finding yourself. What do you think?
Yeah. Agree. I think it definitely made me understand myself a lot better. And I think it's this process, it's just you have to be very honest with yourself, right? Like how much, initially I was very worried that I was just going to be led by enthusiasm alone. But then I realized that no, actually my discipline is what really sustains me. My discipline is what gets me to wake up every day, paint every day. And even when sometimes there's some periods where things are a bit quiet, I'm not posting much or whatever, but like I'm still waking up and painting and doing the same thing. So I think that is something that I understand about myself. That so it's not just only I say, right? Even my actions are telling me that I really want to be an artist.
But maybe then the thing here is this, right? When we talk about the word discipline, do you feel like that discipline has a deeper motivation or drive to it? Or is it just pure discipline that you've developed growing up?
Yeah, definitely the discipline comes from that motivation within, right? But then not every day I can be motivated. Some days I wake up, maybe I just don't feel like painting. Or maybe there's some paintings where I started, but halfway through I feel like, don't really feel like continuing. But then that discipline will bring me through, right? And then eventually, it's always about starting the next painting, and as long as I keep going.
So the motivation gets you started, but it's the discipline that brings you through.
Yeah.
Like follow through. Okay. That's very important.
So it's also like learning that about myself, I guess, because I don't really get a chance to test it in corporate world, right? Like corporate life, you always have projects, you know what you're going to work on. But this one, you set your own schedule. If today you wake up, you don't feel like doing anything, then you don't have to. You don't need permission from anyone. Yeah.
Have you ever fall off the discipline thing?
No.
Okay.
No. Maybe initially when I first started painting, but when I became serious.
Yeah, because like what you say, right? When you are in a corporate workplace, you are, should I say, more tunnel vision? Because you already have this set of projects you're going to work on, these initiatives, you create them, everything is all planned out. But then when you're running your own thing, yes, you can also plan it out. But then it's very much down to your own discipline as to whether you do it, whether the timelines shift or do they stay the way that you plan it. Right. So then, like, what did you experience when you first shifted, and what did it take for you to get back on track with your discipline? Because you did say that initially it was a bit more challenging.
And I mean, initially, like when I first started painting, like 5-6 years ago, then there were some periods where I took like maybe 1-2 months break and did not paint at all. But then somehow I still started the next painting lah. So I'm glad I did. Okay. Otherwise, I maybe would have.
But something must have inspired you to start painting when you were feeling low about it.
Yeah, I think I probably went for an art exhibition and then I get inspired by what I saw.
Right.
Then I thought, okay, actually there's something that I want to paint that I painted. But then now it's very different, right? Because now it's a proper full-time career. So I always make sure that I still put deadlines for myself lah, and I make sure that I'm being held accountable to those deadlines. So I usually will commit to people. If they commission me something, I'll promise them a deadline. So then I know that, okay, I have to
do it out.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
So that kind of forces discipline as well.
It's still your sense of responsibility that pushes things through.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe
that was what you shared at the beginning. So I guess then, like, do you at any point in time feel like so far it sounds like tradition and your upbringing, a lot of it becomes a compass for you in how you guide and move through life today. Like even the whole idea of stability is still something you bring forth, and because of that discipline, even though you become an artist, you can make it work. Right? But are there aspects of your own tradition or culture that you feel that is a shackle for you, that you still feel like you need to break free from?
Is there? Let me think.
There isn't. You generally feel very free now.
Right now I'm actually like really, really enjoy my everyday, enjoy my life. And I think like having family support is very important. So I can't think of anything that it's really holding me back.
Okay, I think that's a nice place to be.
I think I already made the hardest decision, right, to really leave that corporate work life and go full-time art.
I don't know whether living is harder or telling your parents was harder.
Yeah.
These 2 points seem to be the more key moments for you in terms of the breakthrough. Right. But I mean, then, like, what message then would you have for, I guess, people who are aspiring to be artists, right? Because the industry, whether it's creative or artistic, is often seen as places that is very hard to earn well and to do well. But you have kind of broke out of that, and you have kind of proven that from how you've managed it. Right? So what would be a message that you want to leave to the listeners who are wanting to try something different but then are afraid of the risk and of not being able to manage their money?
So I don't want to romanticize these decisions.
That's the second time you're saying that.
Yeah, quit your job, follow your dreams. I think that there needs to be careful planning. So maybe test it out first lah. Like so when I first started, I posted online and then started getting feedback that people want my work. So then try to build something sustainable out of it. And if anyone is thinking of like starting out and to be an artist, I think so from my personal experience, there are a lot of resources in Singapore where you can get maybe lessons, right? Like LaSalle. There are a lot of very good artists in Singapore who are teaching. So I learned from a lot of these artists. And then I make it a point to attend at least one exhibition every week. Actually, Singapore is very small, but every week there's something that's happening. There's always something new to see. Every year I try to go for an overseas art fair. So that helps me to be more exposed to what's out there. And I think
you really expand your horizon.
Yeah, and by observing, that really helps me to kind of further develop what I want to paint. But I think at the end of the day, like again, you have to be responsible for your life, responsible financially. But financially, it doesn't always have to come from, money doesn't always have to come from an income or art sales. Like there's so many ways that money can come from, right? It could be
content creation.
Yeah,
maybe at some point.
That one I don't know, but I hope maybe one day. But I mean, like, whatever, right? I'm not financial advice or anything, but like even like investments, like, I mean, what I'm saying is there are many ways that money can come from, and it doesn't only need to come from one way.
So be open. Look at different sources.
Yeah.
Even when you're doing one thing, there are many ways to get money for that thing.
Yeah.
That's what you're essentially saying.
Yeah. So at least like you won't feel very stuck, right? Because everyone who first started out, you're not going to get a lot of people buying your work immediately. And even if you're started up for many years, there will be periods when no one's buying your work. Then you need to make sure that you still have food and you can pay rent or you can pay your mortgage.
So like really the resilience to see it through, even when there are times when it's tough, but also finding different ways that could help you to hedge. You know, whatever that. Right.
You got it.
Speaking to the actuary, we have to use the financial language. Okay. Well, thank you for the words of wisdom. And like, you know, for the listeners, thank you for watching this episode. We hope it gives you the wisdom that you need for your life.
Carry forward what aligns, let go of what doesn't, commit to your inner work.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.